The Google Pixelbook launched over 2 years ago, but does it still remain as the undisputed champion of quality Chromebooks? Let's find out in this review. First, let's talk about that screen. The Pixelbook screen has an absolutely massive bezel for 2020, but that does not mean you should discount this Chromebook for your potential shopping list. The 12.3-inch 2400 by 1600 display is still gorgeous to look at and consume media on. Everything is crystal clear on this screen, making it perfectly acceptable for today's display standards, despite that huge bezel. Next, let's talk about battery life and portability. While I have not used many portable computing devices, it is well known that the more power-hungry Windows and Mac machines struggle to keep their battery life above a solid 8 hours, many of them struggling to keep it above 6. The Google Pixelbook does a great job taking over in this regard, as I managed to consistently get over 10 hours of full use on this device. It is a battery champ, and its portability is nothing to scoff at when considering the great battery life this device gets either. It's a fanless Core i5 design, giving it plenty of power for just about anything you throw at it. I work where we have a variety of Chromebooks for use, and I constantly bring my Pixelbook because of its battery life and speed. Others simply cannot compete. This thing is extremely powerful with how thin it is and how long the battery lasts. It easily slips in the laptop compartment of my backpack with extra room for my iPad Pro. Next up is the functionality. Google's Pixelbook is probably the most functional Chromebook and one of the most functional laptop devices I have ever owned. It still boots up instantly after 6 months of use, and I can't ever recall a time when an application stuttered. The thing just works. The extent of my use on this device is mainly for working at home on the Google suite of apps, but have also used for several other applications, such as cloud emulation of some old games, and have even used the browser-based DAW Soundtrap. In all instances, I have never had a hiccup with this device. However, do keep in mind that I am not one to keep more than 5 or 6 tabs open at a time. Getting away from the more traditional laptop uses, it is convenient for this device to be able to fold the screen all the way over to create a tablet mode. I can't say that I use this function often, but it comes in handy when I do need it. If I had the larger model iPad Pro, you would most likely find me using that instead of the Pixelbook, simply due to the weight. The iPad is just inherently lighter as a tablet than the Pixelbook, making the Pixelbook more useful as a laptop than a tablet. As a musician, the larger screen is useful for sheet music and things of that nature. Next up, we have the keyboard. The Pixelbook keyboard is honestly great. I can't say that I have any gripes about this keyboard at all. Key travel is great and legit makes you feel like you're typing, unlike Apple's butterfly switches. Thank goodness they're getting rid of those. The only point I would make a buyer wary of are the keys are very slightly mushy, but I don't find it to be a hang-up at all. It is backlit, which is another great touch. The typing experience on this keyboard is just sublime, especially with the rubber padding you get for a palm rest. The trackpad is simply great. It's all glass and just glides. It may not be a MacBook trackpad in terms of size, but great quality nonetheless. Next up, we got the Upkeep on this device. It's only been a little over 6 months for me, but speaking of the palm rests, this material shows up around the rest of the device as well. I haven't seen the palm rests themselves get dirty after 6 months, but I have noticed that the rubber on the bottom of the Pixelbook has gotten quite dirty without much of a way to clean it. I am not particularly comfortable taking a wet rag to the device just to clean it, so it's something I will live with. How many people just stare at the bottom of their computer anyways? Coming up here, we got the OS or the software. Consumers really luck out with the OS and updates. It's so clean and simple, there really isn't much to it. The added Android app compatibility is nice, but I can't say that it is something I use much. I do use the app Scribed for sheet music that is available through the app, and the app is a lot more useful than the web version, so I do have some use for this functionality. Others of you may get more or less out of it, depending on what you need it for. It is great that this device gets updated at the very least once a month, if not more often. Security is built in, so that is not an issue either. Overall, it is a very sleek and easy to use interface. To wrap up, the Pixelbook is not something you should pass over if you are looking for something high-end to get your work done, plus maybe a little more. I've edited video and music in web-based editors on the Pixelbook, and outside of a lack of full functionality on those applications, it is by no means a bad experience. This device is still worth purchasing even after 2 years. Wait a minute, didn't the Pixelbook Go just come out? It did, and it didn't really get too much attention. Here's the thing. On the new Pixelbook Go, you pay a premium for its aesthetics. I think the Pixelbook still looks great on the outside, even if the bezels on the inside are huge. You can get the i5 Pixelbook with its amazing pixel density standard for $1,000. If you want the high-density display Pixelbook Go, you have to spend $1,400, and you lose the ability to flip it around or use the pen. For $150 less than the original Pixelbook, you can get the Go with the same specs but a lower density screen. So there's some interesting trade-offs. Well, what do you think? Let us know your thoughts on the Pixelbook, or if you plan to purchase one, or even a Pixelbook Go. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.